Okay, so here we are. We are doing a bracket reveal for Battlebots Season 5. I've just seen the Whiplash versus Valkyrie match. Sadly, that didn't go the way I predicted it. It was a fantastic episode in general, though. I loved that episode. It was probably one of the best of the seasons. Like, the fights that I didn't expect to be particularly interesting, such as P1 versus Smee, that was fantastic. Tantrum versus Gamma 9, Tantrum dominated. That was very fun to watch. Even Sawblades versus Rusty, that was a good showing as well. So yeah, we're doing a bracket reveal here in Microsoft Word 2003. Don't judge me. I've ranked all of the robots. I've got their win-loss ratio next to them, and we're gonna see how right I was, how wrong I was. We've got Hydra here as top seed. That's what they've been plugging. The Uppercut versus Hydra fight was going to be the fight for the top dog. The other thing that I want to point out, 16 versus 17 is going to be Tombstone versus Witch Doctor. I'm staking so much on that. I'm going to look like a genius if that's actually how it goes down. So I think these are all the robots that we've got in the top 32. Sadly, I think we've got P1 missing out just. They're going to favor the veteran Hypershock. I don't know. I don't think the selection committee rate P1 highly enough. Even though they got 2 knockouts against Kronos and Smee, I'm not sure if it quite gets the credit it deserves. Otherwise, I reckon we would have seen their Kronos fight. All right. Anyway, so here we go. Without further ado, let's see how we go. I'm going to turn this down slightly because I noticed it was a little bit too loud.
Based on their performance in the qualifying rounds.
This is going to be fantastic. So this quadrant setup is exactly the same as what we had in Season 2, with each of the quadrants headed up by the top 4 seeds. Right, here we go. All right, let's have a look. All right, so top 4 seed, the 4th seed I had it as endgame. I think they had an incredibly strong strength of schedule. They beat Tombstone. They beat Hypershock, which, you know, is no joke. Their only loss was to Bloodsport, who I've got as 2nd seed up there. Let's see who we've got.
The selection committee could have gone a number of different ways here.
Yep, indeed. Endgame. Uppercut, okay. Alright, that makes sense. So it's another 2-in-1 robot. I had Uppercut at 5. That's pretty interesting. I was pretty close with that. I mean, that's a long shot from the 16th seed that they got last season. What a fantastic robot it has been as well. I mean, yeah, they're going to always favor a huge weapon over most things. So it makes sense that this is probably the highest 2-in-1 robot. Yeah, the durability is a good point as well. Despite having such a powerful weapon, they didn't kill themselves with it. So who have we got? We've got Hijinks at 29. All right. So I had Hijinks at 31, so I was pretty close with that. Beta at 13. I had Jackpot at 13. I had Beta at 8, so it's really surprising to see that they're rating Beta so low despite it being a 3-0 robot. I mean, they gave it a weak strength of schedule, so I don't know what they were expecting Beta to do with that other than win it all. Maybe it was, I mean, they were going on about how they weren't firing their hammer and stuff like that, and that was a point of contention in terms of how they were going to be potentially seeded. But yeah, it's interesting to see a robot hyped up so much. They gave it such a great fight against Tombstone back in Season 2. Maybe it's just the distance of time that has lowered Beta's ranking, maybe. But yeah, they're 13th. That's got to be the lowest 3-0 robot, right? Ribot at 20. I had Ribot at 21, so I was close with that. Black Dragon at 5. They're ranking a 2-in-1. They were ranking a 2-in-1 robot 8 slots ahead of Beta. That's honestly quite shocking to me. I had Uppercut at 5. I had Black Dragon at 11. They were run very close by Kraken. I thought that was going to lower Black Dragon's rating. Their one loss against Copperhead is completely understandable, and their only other win was against Claw Viper. So I don't know, like, that's honestly quite surprising that Black Dragon is so high. Slammo at 28. It's great to see Danby make it to the tournament, by the way. That's fantastic. I had Slammo at 29, so I was pretty close with that one. Mad Catter at 12, another 3-0 robot, rated pretty low. I was expecting some 3-0 robots to not be in the top 10, 100%. I didn't expect Mad Catter to be one of them. I didn't expect Beta to be one of them. That's kind of shocking. That probably means that Jackpot is not going to be top 10 either. We'll just see. We'll just see about that soon. Tombstone at 21. So yeah, as you can see, my hopes for the 16-17 Tombstone Witch Doctor fight gone completely. But that's okay. That was a bit of a a swinging for the fences on that one. 21 seed for Tombstone. I guess that makes sense. They're at 1 and 2. They didn't have the best. They didn't have the best fight night performance. Their only win was against Slapbox, which didn't even get a third fight. So yeah, totally makes sense. And the whole history, Tombstone has an amazing history. That's what's carried it so high anyway, as several 1 and 2 robots won't make it. All right, so that's that for this quadrant.
Well, this one feels like the group of death to me, Chris.
The group of death, absolutely. So, yeah, wow, Tombstone uppercut, 2 massive weapons. Craig Danby's got himself in a bit of a pickle here. Who else? Ribot, that's a strong robot too. So I think what they might be setting up for here is an uppercut versus Tombstone showdown, I guess. Or we could be seeing a Beta versus Tombstone rematch. Maybe that's why they've worked things out the way they have. Black Dragon being so high is really interesting. Mad Catter there as well could be a bit of a dark horse. But they have to get through Tombstone first, which is terrifying. We'll get to these matchups in more detail later, most definitely. Let's have a look at what the next quadrant is going to be.
Number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's number 3 overall seed is...
So I have Copperhead as the number 3 seed. I initially had them as the number 2 seed, but I definitely see the fact that they didn't have quite the strength of schedule that Bloodsport did. The fight against P1, that was a bit of a dull affair. Bloodsport had a really, really good lineup. Hey, Copperhead, there it is. Number 3 seed. That makes perfect sense to me. So that's much better than the, what did they get? The 28th seed, I want to say, in Season 2. And not making it to the top 16 in Season 3. Alright, here we go. So Mammoth, we've got it in at number 30. I had Sub-Zero at 30. I have Mammoth at 28th, so that's pretty close. Lockjaw at 14, which was bang on. Lockjaw definitely slipped down the rankings, in my opinion, this season. They've had a rough year. They've not been, working at 100%. They lost against newcomers Jackpot there. They have Shatter at 19, which is a good return for Adam Wrigley's second season. I had them at 15. I can see Shatter being ranked there. They won against Captain Shredderator and Ghost Raptor, and both of those have 1 win. Yeah, that's right. And Ghost Raptor, not a particularly impressive win either. So we've got Endgame at 6. Endgame I had at 4 because they had such a strong strength of schedule, as I think I mentioned. Who did they have? They had Bloodsport, Tombstone, and Hypershock. And they just mentioned it in the episode that we just watched how strong Endgame's lineup was. So a little bit surprising that they've gotten punished there by being seeded 6th. That's not much of a punishment though, really. I mean, they went 2-1. A top 6 seeding is pretty damn good. Who have we got? Perfect Phoenix at 27. I had them at 25, so not too far off. Jackpot at 11. Now, man, I was calling Jackpot wouldn't be a top 10 bot. I mean, it's not as if they've been terrible or anything. Like, it's a 3-0 robot, obviously, but they just didn't quite have the strength of schedule. Sub-Zero broke down. So Jackpot got a little bit lucky in that fight. They beat Ghost Raptor. They eviscerated Ghost Raptor, but it's not the best robot. And they got a good win over a struggling Lockjaw. Now, Jackpot was driven really, really well in that fight. Like, don't get me wrong. They're really starting to work out how to control Jackpot, and they're really, I really think they've sorted out their drivetrain issues that they had back in episode 2 or whatever, whenever they debuted. So don't get me wrong, it's not an unimpressive robot by any stretch. I'm a little bit surprised that it's been ranked over 2 other 3-0 robots in Mad Catter and Beta. But people called me crazy that that they wouldn't be for saying that they wouldn't be in the top 10. I knew that they'd come somewhere I think 11th to 14th is how I had them. So 11th is a really good return for Jackpot. People thought I was mad for saying they wouldn't be top 10. I can't believe that people didn't see this seeding coming. Rotator at 22. Bang on. Rotator at 22. Just underneath Tombstone at 21. That makes perfect sense. You know, two really good robots. Same sort of pedigree, same sort of quality, you know. Rotator beat Tombstone last year, in any case. So to have them pretty close to Tombstone makes sense, even as a 1 and 2 robot. Alright, let's move on.
Could see Donald Hudson's Lockjaw is very dangerous as a 14th seed. Could see some upsets from him. A lot of rising.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Lockjaw at 14. It's a low seed, but it's a high quality robot that could turn it around in the pits throughout the season. And so, and I'm not looking at matchups just yet. I'll save that for my regular videos. But I mean, they've drawn Shatter here, so they're drawing tougher bots than they otherwise would have with a higher seed. But like, they can really cause some upsets here. They can take some bigger names out of the competition than they otherwise would have with a higher seed. And it's, you know, bad news for these mid-tier robots that have to come up and fight them.
Stars here as well.
Yeah, this is another strong quadrant. I mean, they're all going to be pretty strong, hey. But you got to be worried with these strong 1 and 2 robots, Rotator, Witch Doctor, Tombstone, huge as well, that I suspect will make it. Gruff is another one that I think will make it. You got to be worried seeing these pop up in your quadrants and like having to fight them. You know, if you're a 2-in-1 robot that has performed to your potential, such as Shatter, Tantrum, Gigabyte, Valkyrie, etc.
Rotator, of course, but even as a
yeah, Rotator makes it. That's good news for Victor Soto after missing last season.
Okay, so the bottom
Endgame finally makes it. This is the first time they've made it to the bracket in their 3-season run. Copperhead return after season 2. Perfect Phoenix make it on their first try, which isn't really a particular shock to me. Yeah, let's continue. Lockjaw make it for the 3rd season in a row. All right.
Committee's choice for the number 2
seed. So I had Bloodsport. It's got to be Bloodsport.
And it goes to...
Has to be. Yeah.
What just happened? Bloodsport.
There it is. That's no surprise to me at all.
Team that has just been first year in the tournament.
Yeah, it's been such a huge improvement by Bots and Stuff Robotics. I only remember that because I can read it there. Fantastic stuff by Justin Marple and his team to make it this far and to get such a high seed off like a pretty tough strength of schedule. Endgame, Scorpios, and Kronos as well. So a bit of a weaker one there, but you know, that's always going to pop up.
Here's their competition in this group.
Here we go. So Gruff at 31. I had Gruff at 27. I was thinking we might have these sort of like lower 2-in-1 robots making up the final spots in the brackets, but no, they've just squeezed Gruff in there at 31. Fusion in at 15? What? That is a bit of a shock to me. I had them at 24. Main reason being their only wins were against Aegis and War Easy, so that's pretty shocking to me. Tantrum at 18, I had that dead on. Sawblaze at 7, I had Sawblaze at 9. So yeah, with the 2 3-0 robots that I wasn't expecting to get so low, Madcatter and Beta, that makes sense. Who else? Kraken at 26. I had them at 23. I thought a win against Witch Doctor and a very close fight against apparently very highly rated Black Dragon. Not to rag against Black Dragon or anything, they're fantastic. I just didn't think they had the best season. Yeah, I thought that might have afforded Kraken a bit of a higher seeding. Scorpios at 10. Huh. And Witch Doctor at 23. So they make up that trifecta of 1 and 2 really strong robots, along with Tombstone and Rotator. So they're going to be fighting against Scorpios. Scorpios finally make it into the competition. They have waited so long. They went 3-1 in Season 3 and Season 4 and didn't make it twice in a row. Although in somewhat understandable circumstances, in Season 3, I seem to remember they didn't actually have a main weapon left. They had to go and buy an angle grinder for their fight against Hypershock. So with such a focus on weaponry, it kind of made sense that Scorpios didn't make the tournament there as a 3-in-1 bot, and then they lost a play-in match against Lockjaw, and a lot of 3-in-1 robots went out in those play-in fights there. So it's kind of understandable, but it's also kind of crazy at the same time, since it's been a premier robot ever since they beat Icewave, in my opinion, back in Season 3. Sawblaze gets another higher rank. They was seeded 5th in Season 3, as I think I said in my previous video. This makes a lot of sense. They're taking on Kraken. This is a horrible matchup for Kraken. This is absolutely awful. Man, I think Matt Spurk's going to have to wait another year for a deep run, which is a real shame. Eventually he'll come good, I think. But man, I shouldn't be looking at matchups too much here. Bloodsport versus Gruff, though. Holy crap! I just realized how dangerous that is for Bloodsport as the second seed. Gruff could pull out an upset there if they've got stuff sorted out in the pits.
And of course, last year's runner-up, Witch Doctor, is ranked 20.
That is also a horrible matchup for Scorpios as well. I just sort of realized. That is awful. I'm just trying to think. Scorpios versus Vertical Spinners. As I said, they lost to Lockjaw. They don't do too well against Vertical Spinners, do they? They got all horizontals this season, so maybe they've got something up their sleeve that we haven't seen yet. Fusion versus Tantrum is really interesting as well. Fusion's going to have to go with their Vertical Spinner. I think this is a great draw for Tantrum. Fusion isn't necessarily that well proven. Tantrum's a very durable robot, and Fusion has it's got a couple of one-hit knockouts under its belt, so it hasn't really proven that it can go the distance against tougher opposition. I should stop talking because we're gonna cover this in more detail later.
Their weapon dialed in and
Alright, so that means the top seed is Hydra, obviously.
For the moment we have all been waiting for. Overall seed and
it's the only one left. The only top 10 seeds left are 8 and 9. So it's got to be Valkyrie and... Let me figure this one out. So Hydra is obviously going to be number 1. Valkyrie is going to be 8 or 9. And the other robot at 8 or 9 has to be... Gigabyte? What? Who are we missing? Oh, Whiplash, fuck, of course. God damn it. It's a lot to keep track of, I'm sorry guys. 32nd seed's going to be Hypershock. I'm worried that Huge might not have made it. Or, well, I have Huge at 26th. They might come in at 25th. Yeah, Hypershock at 32nd. 16 versus 17. It's probably going to be, what, Malice versus Gigabyte, possibly. Are there any robots from the top 16, my top 16, that we've missed so far? Trying to figure out. Yeah, 16 versus 17's got to be Malice versus Gigabyte. That's going to be interesting.
Again, this is the selection
All right,
committee's
here we go.
highest ranked bot, and in theory,
Hydra.
the Flipper Hydra, of course.
This is great. Absolute villain. I love it. I low-key honestly love seeing the villain of the piece get the top seed. I think that's lots of fun. We've got someone to root against, you know. I'm always one for the underdogs. But I still like Hydra. Like, let's be honest, it's a fantastic robot. And it went in, you know, fair and square against Uppercut. Alright, Hypershock at 32. That's how I had it. Malice and Gigabyte at 16 and 17. I mean, I didn't quite have it like that before the Quadrant. I had Gigabyte at 19, Malice at 20. So, you know, kind of close. Who we got? Whiplash at 8. Oh, they rematch against Huge. Ooh, okay. That was the first tournament fight for Whiplash and Huge last season, and Valkyrie takes on Sub-Zero, so I think we've got a fairly simple win for Valkyrie there, to be honest. But yeah, there it is, the top 32, guys. We've done it. We made it. I was right with everyone who made the top 32. We're missing out on it. The only 2-in-1 robot to miss out was P1. As I kind of said in my previous video, that was likely to happen. The winner of SME and P1 being the only 2-in-1 robot to miss. Captain Shredderator misses out. I think it's probably the only 1 and 2 robot that can say got snubbed, really, as we just sort of like look down the... None of those robots have wins. Yeah. I don't particularly know why I ordered all these robots when it's really just the top 32 that matters, but you know, there you go. That's, if you wanted to have a look, that's how I ordered all the other robots. We still didn't see Gemini get another fight. I guess it just got completely ruined. We never saw the big boy pants. We might see them in Bounty Hunters. Anyway, having said that, let's just let the rest of this play out. That's rough. Oh, just quickly, Hydra versus Hypershock. That's another rematch from an untelevised fight that we got last season. I'm pretty sure it was just an exhibition match as the tournament was coming to a close. So I figured Huge would make it. So the lower part of this quadrant's very interesting because I'm gonna be tipping Valkyrie all day long. It also means that Whiplash, Valkyrie could fight against either Whiplash or Huge, which is like, that's a nightmare scenario, potentially, or like a dream scenario. Like, Huge doesn't do well against horizontal spinners. But then again, I think Huge might be a match for Valkyrie. I don't know, just thinking about it. They beat Gigabyte after all. Jeez, yeah, that's a tough road for Valkyrie. That really is. Focusing on them because they're one of my favorite robots. Gee.
Final pick as the 32 seed. Their prize is a date with
Hydra finally has to come up against a horizontal if they beat Hypershock there. That's going to be good to see.
Hydra, that #1.
Well, you never know.
Hydra might have to come up against 2 vertical spinners. Oh god, it might come up against Huge again. Oh Jesus. Oh no. Oh, why did they put them in the same quadrant? Alright, just quickly, final thoughts, just trying to look at any potential rematches that we've seen in the past. Witch Doctor and Sawblaze could rematch if they win again. Lockjaw and Copperhead, is that a rematch? No, I don't think so. Yeah, that's all I'm seeing currently, just in the in what could happen in the round of 16. Yeah, if you look at the top 8, there's a lot of different ways this could go, a lot of different potential matchups. Yeah, it's interesting to see some 3-0 robots get some lower seeds, Beta and Mad Catter specifically. Those, I think, are the most questionable seeds that I can see. Other than that, mostly we're looking pretty good, I reckon. I'm disappointed that we don't get Tombstone versus Witch Doctor at 16-17, but it looks like there might have been a lot of other things that they wanted to do. Yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be awesome. Alright, so can't wait to get stuck into this, predicting what is going to happen. Well, this is it. This is what the bracket looks like. Going back to the start of the season, we're going to see if, is there anyone that I'm surprised didn't make it. After its Hijinks fight, I was convinced that Claw Viper was going to make it. Other than that, I think I was pretty hopeful for Tracer. That didn't really eventuate. Kronos, I think I was hoping that it had improved. That wasn't the case. Sadly, Sharko didn't end up getting a win. Thought maybe War Easy might have been better than it was, perhaps. Ghost Raptor, seeing the veteran comeback was nice, but it didn't end up doing all that much. Captain Shredderator really is the standout in terms of, if you just take away the actual Fight Night battles, I think Captain Shredderator is probably the one robot that you can say, ooh, they probably should have made it if you lined them all up at the start of the season. Yeah, anyway, Hydra, top seed. Yeah, I'm going to end this here because otherwise I'm going to keep rambling. Alright, so I'll see you guys next time